Guys. Oh, wow. Oh, God damn. Getting some feedback. I'm sure you guys can hear that. Can you guys hear me? So, wow, my people, getting the crazy feedback right now. Hold on, let me turn off this microphone. Jesus Christ. My peoples, can you hear me now? We troubleshooting. I know y'all can hear me now. Here we go, my peoples. Yes, sir. We in the building. Let's get it, my people. You know what? Hold on. Because we got to talk about the fight, right? And the whole fight been playing while I've been over here troubleshooting, feeling like an IT guy for a company and shit. But my peoples, let me know what you guys think about Brian Norman Jr. versus Jin Sasaki. Is Brian Norman Jr. a special fighter? Is he a hype job? We just saw Jerome Bruce Ennis say, yo, I'm out of here. I'm leaving to 154. Boost did that a couple days right before Brian Norman Jr. just did what he did. What do you guys think about that? Is it a coincidence that Boost is leaving the division right before this fight took place? Because I feel like there was going to be a lot of noise. There was going to be a lot of noise about this fight. Just people saying, yo, look at Brian Norman Jr. He was explosive. Boost got to fight him. Boost got to fight him. So Boost was smart because he was like, yo, if we wait, his team, they was like, if we wait and he wins in spectacular fashion, which he did, we're going to have to fight him. Or we're not going to have to, but people are going to call for that fight. And then they're going to say we ducked. Unless, salute my G, bam, maker. If Boost wants to smoke, he stayed, hold up. Let me stay at 147 real quick. I mean, that's what I thought was going to happen. And the reason I felt that way is because you have to remember, Boots, he won his last fight, and he did not say he was moving up to 154 right after he won. He still was talking about trying to become undisputed. So what happens now? He says he's going to 154. A couple days before Brian Norman Jr. performed in spectacular fashion. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. But right now, my people, right this very moment, who's the best 147 pounder right now? Is it Brian Norman Jr.? Gotta think about that. Look at the way that man performed yesterday. Make a crazy coincidence. I'm not a fan of coincidences, but I guess that's what it was. Because what I personally thought is that Boost was waiting for him to fight, waiting for him to win, and then he was gonna call him out. Like, yo, what's up, Brian Norman Jr.? Let's get it. That's what I thought was gonna happen. But no. Instead, a couple days before Brian Norman Jr. fights, Jerome Boost Ennis announces that he's going to 147. In fact, I think that Boost posted the day before the fight. I think that Boost posted yesterday. I said the day before the fight, like the fight was a different day. I think Boost posted that yesterday, right? First, he pulled out the Teo fight, and now the Norman issue. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say. But he says he's going to 154. And he's trying to become a champion right away, go after the big dogs. That's it. That's what we're getting next. That's what we're getting next from Jerome Boost Ennis. But I can tell you, man, based off of this performance that we saw from Brian Norman Jr., he's the guy in the welterweight division right now. How can you really say otherwise? How can we say that somebody else is the man at the welterweight division when you got Brian Norman Jr. Knocking people out in spectacular fashion? Because remember his last fight too. Remember his last fight, how it played out. So he's on a run. He got momentum on his favor. And listen, man, I've been saying Brian Norman Jr. versus Jerome Boost Ennis was the fight to make at the welterweight division. That was it right there. But it's not going to happen. Now, can we possibly get that fight at 154 in the future? Maybe. Maybe. I wish we could have got it at 147. That's for sure. That's for sure. Maker, I don't think Boost is a duck. He's going to run into some competition at 54. Of course. Of course. There's some top-level fighters up there as well. But, that's a fight that we missed out on. Because if you think about it, even right here, on Back Center, we've been talking about it for weeks. About the possibility of Boost versus Norman Jr. We've been talking about that. And to just find out that we're not going to get that fight. But if you see Norman Jr. versus Sasaki, you can envision that Boost versus Norman Jr. was going to be an explosive fight. You can see the way that Norman Jr. stays composed. Even when he landed monster shots on Sasaki, you can see his composure. That was crazy. He's cold-blooded. Brian Norman Jr. got blood running through, got ice running through his veins. Ice water running through his veins, my people. I'm telling you, the guy can fight. He got power. The punch placement is crazy. Patrick, fighters don't duck. It's the promoters who block fights. I mean, I think sometimes fighters do duck. And I tell you that because I know there's cases where a fighter straight up doesn't want to fight somebody. Straight up. They're like, nah, it's not happening. It happens. Like, I'll give you an example. And this is, two fighters that are already retired. Tito Trinidad and Julio Cesar Chavez. Chavez never fought Trinidad. And Trinidad tells a story that they offered Chavez the fight, a title shot. And they approached him. Or I think Chavez also had a title and it was a unification. And Tito Trinidad said that Julio Cesar Chavez told him straight up, yo, that fight's not happening. We don't want that fight. That fight, you can forget about that. Don't ask for it. Because he knew, he was Julio Cesar Chavez was at the tail end of his career, and Trinidad was baiting people up. So Chavez turned him down. That was a duck, but he's older. He got the right to do that. But sometimes fighters do duck fights. Now, my peoples, I know y'all seen it. Brian Norman Jr. been calling out Jerome Bruce Henderson. He's been trying to fight him. That's how you know the type of fighter that he is. The boogeyman, the guy that a lot of people don't want to fight. Brian Norman Jr. was like, yo, let's unify Jerome Bruce Ennis. Let's get this action. So you got to respect him. Right now, I have to say there's a very good argument to make that Norman Jr. is the guy at the welterweight division. He's the guy. Now, of course, he's going to start going through that process of unifying titles. I'm guessing he's going to try to fight the winner of Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. I can see that happening. And Boots is going to vacate those two belts. He can also fight for one of those two vacant titles. Let's see how it plays out. But, Brian Norman Jr., his stock skyrocketed after this fight. Look at those combinations. Look at the left hook. The right hook to the melon, my peoples. Look. Oh, my goodness. The right hook to the melon. The right uppercut. The right hook to the melon of Jen Sasaki. Brian Norman Jr. was letting them hands fly, my people. Look at that right hand and that left hook. The left hook from Brian Norman Jr. We saw some serious action, my people. From round number 1, the bombs was flying. And the punch placement from Brian Norman Jr. is insane. You see them heat-seeking missiles? Yo, that man's right hand was like a heat-seeking, a head-seeking missile. Yo, just too good. Too good. And I've been said, those of you who've been here know that I've been said, if Brian Norman Jr. and Jerome Bruce end this fight, that's a 50-50 fight. That's a 50-50 fight. And people was like, nah, Norman Jr. gets knocked out. He's easy work for Boots. And now people's like, wait a minute. It's not as easy as I thought. This guy can fight, man. He can fight. Patrick, Boots doesn't duck anybody. But you're right. Norman Jr., since Boots is moving, Norman Jr., timing and precision was clean. Brian Norman Jr., the man, for sure at the welterweight division at 147. That's what I'm talking about. Brian Norman Jr. is that guy right now. And look, as long as Boots was in the welterweight division, he was the man. Because he's holding 2 out of the 3 titles. Well, 2 out of the 4. But Norman Jr. has 1 as well. But Boots was the man in the division. Make no mistake about it. However, Brian Norman Jr. was breathing, right behind him like that. Breathing down his neck. Right there. It was going to be a situation, either you're going to fight me or you're going to have to leave the division. And Boots chose to leave. That's it. That's it right there. He chose to leave. So right now, I think most of us, Patrick, I think agree that Brian Norman Jr. is the man at the welterweight division. He's that dude. Especially with the way that he's winning his fights. What can you say? What can you do? Who's going to challenge him? Maybe Devin Haney. Now, What I don't like about Boots leaving the division is that now those two titles are going to be vacant. And, people are going to fight for them to become champions. They're not going to have to fight Boots for it. That's number one. And number two, I want to see what opponents are matched up against each other for those vacant titles. I'm guessing Devin Haney, who was going to fight Teofimo Lopez, I'm guessing he's going to get a shot at one of those. My assumption. And let's see who gets another title shot. But we gotta respect Brian Norman Jr., my people. We gotta give it to him. And Jin Sasaki. I said it yesterday. Jin Sasaki is a fighter who you gotta respect. He's a warrior. In the first round, he got dropped twice. Could have easily stayed down. Could have easily quit. He could have pulled the plug when he got dropped the second time or after the first round ended. Could have been like, nah, I'm good. Kept going. Took some serious punishment. Now, I will say, my peoples, in my personal opinion, his team, Jin Sasaki, should have pulled the plug on the fight on round number 3 or round number 4. Your corner got to take care of you. Look at the devastating knockout, the explosive knockout that Brian Norman Jr. put on him. And he took a lot of hard punches to the head that landed flush. Norman Jr. was teeing off on him. Teeing off. Sasaki was eating all types of leather, and he kept going forward. He kept fighting back. But the point is, if you keep fighting back, but you're getting beat up, you're taking a beating, why wait for you to get slapped? Why not just pull the plug and be like, nah, yo? Because I tell you what, if we being realistic, at least myself, I saw the difference in levels in the first round. I saw that there was a big difference in the first round. I was like, nah, this fight isn't going the distance. It's not. So, and I'm not saying they got to pull the plug in the first round, but when you take a beating in the first round, get dropped twice, then you take a beating in the second round, then you're taking a beating in the third round, taking mad punches to the head. Pull the plug on the fight, man. You're going to let your fighter get killed out there? Look how badly Jin Sasaki got slept. Had to get taken out on a stretcher. That man could have, badly bleeding to the brain or swelling to the brain or some type of other damage. I don't know. Come on, man. I'm telling you. Trainers and doctors and everybody that's there to protect the fighters from themselves as well, they got to know when to pull the plug, man. Jin Sasaki, he was not going to win that fight. He was, in round number 3 and round number 4, there was moments where he took such hard shots to the head that he was out on his feet. Sasaki was out on his feet, my people. I don't know if it's because, he's, in home soil and they don't want to pull the plug on their own fighter. They want to let him fight to the death. They want to let him show that he's a warrior and all that. But nah, forget all that. He out there getting beat up. Stop that fight. Patrick. Jin Sasaki must have been on PED to manage to last that long. I want to see Polanco is coming. Dominican brother can punch. Rohan Polanco, my brother, he can punch, he can fight, and he has all the makings of a world champion. Rohan Polanco, I believe, is going to be one of the multiple Dominican world champions. I think Rohan Polanco is going to join that crew. He can fight. He got power, ring IQ, speed, footwork crazy, defense. No, he got it all. He got it all. Rohan Polanco can fight. But again, my peoples, the man in the welterweight division is Brian Norman Jr. No ifs, ands, or buts. This man put the Swiss, the Apple, and the Dre beats on Jin Sasaki. We gotta be honest. We gotta see what took place. And Jin Sasaki, my peoples, he's no bum. If you don't know about him and you haven't done any type of research, it's okay. But I'm telling you, Jin Sasaki is no bum. This guy's ranked in the, like top 5 in all 4 sanctioning bodies. The guy can fight. And Brian Norman Jr. just put the nasty beating on him. Come on now. You got to give him his credit. How can we not do it? That's it. Right now, Brian Norman Jr., we have to agree unanimously. We have to agree unanimously that he is the man at the welterweight division. That's it. Unanimously, my people. I don't think Devin wants Norman problems. He's cracking. You know what, Unlaced? I'm going to have to rock with you on that one. I'm going to have to rock with you on that one, Unlaced. Because, Ryan Norman Jr. is, I said Ryan, Brian Norman Jr. is looking dangerous right now. Dangerous. That power, that precision, that sharpness. Crazy. Crazy. It's crazy right now. I want to see who's willing to step up to the plate. Look at this replay from Brian Norman Jr. That right hand to the melon of Jin Sasaki. And look, Sasaki stood there. Wait, look at that right hand. Boom, another one. Right to the wit piece. I'm trying to tell you, my people. I'm trying to tell you. Brian Norman Jr. is showing out. Last couple of performances, he's been explosive. Explosive stoppages. And you've seen it. He wanted to fight. Oh, by the way, he also said, grab your boots and run. Make of that what you will. Grab your boots and run. He didn't say nothing else. So that's it. The message is out. Brian Norman Jr. is that boy at the welterweight division. It's his. He took it over. Took over the division, my people. Now let's see what direction Norman Jr. is going to go in. Is he going to try to unify the titles? Or is he going to move up soon to the 154 division and set up another possible negotiation and fight with Jerome Sanders? So on Lace, I tell you what, you say you don't think Devin wants Norman Jr., but what's going to be next for Devin Haney? Because you have to take into account that he was going to fight Teofimo Lopez, and at some point, Bill Haney did say that they want to boost at the welterweight division. So if they can't get Boots because he'll be moving up to 154, maybe Brian Norman Jr. is in the cards. Maybe. Let's see. I'd like to see it. Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr., big fight. But again, his stock, I'm referring to Norman Jr., is way up right now with the way that he's been winning. People are going to want to fight him. People are going to want to try him. And then there's going to be those who don't want no parts of that smoke. Make no mistake about it. There's a lot of fighters right now, and I'm not going to name nobody, but they're out there who don't want to fight Brian Norman Jr. I'm not going to name no names, but I could just tell you Brian Norman Jr. is the boogeyman at the welterweight division. That's just the reality. Oh, shit. Hold on, my people. What am I doing over here? Here we go. On Lace, definitely a big fight. JJ's in the house. Hello, Jay Smith. Nice fight this morning. Thank you again with the commentary. You already know it, man. You already know it. Had to give y'all that live commentary. Had to give y'all that live commentary. Wait a minute. What am I doing here, my peoples? What am I doing? Because I want all of your comments to come out in this screen over here. StreamYard. Guys, can you see your comments? Let me know, guys, if you can see your comments. Show comments. Oh, here we go. Now I should be able to. There we go. Bam. There we go. My peoples, let me know if y'all can see the comments on the stage. T.O. versus Norman. Ooh. Unlaced. You're ruthless. T.O. versus Norman Jr. I like it. I like it. By the way, Teofimo Lopez recently said that he wants to fight twice, 2 more times this year. I think he said once in September and once in December or January. After that fight, people are losing weight and gaining weight to get the fuck out of the way of Norman. Not saying names like you say. I'm not calling any names, but people trying to stay out of the way of Brian Norman Jr. That's all I know. I'm not gonna say no names, my G. That's, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on. I don't understand what's going on, my brother. That I can tell you for sure. I'm confused. I'm bewildered. I'm perturbed. Let's see what's gonna happen with Brian Norman Jr. Who is he gonna fight next? What direction is he headed in? Are we talking about unification for titles, or is he gonna move up to 154? You know, within the next couple of fights, because we could still get Norman Jr. versus Boots. We can still get that at 154. Don't get it twisted. Are we gonna get it? I don't know. I really do want to see that fight. I really wanted to see that fight, which is the reason why I was calling for it. We'll find out soon enough. We'll find out soon enough, my people. JJ said that back to work. Take care, Jay Smith and Box Center family. God bless. God bless you, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. Boom. Can't see the comment anymore. Norman is collecting all the belts at 147. Is he young and can stay at 147 for a while? I mean, that I agree with you. Brian Norman Jr., you know, I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's 24 years old. So at 24, bro, at 24 years old, you can stick around in the welterweight division for like 3-4 more years. Easy. Make weight comfortably. Hold on, because somebody's telling me that you cannot see the comments. Show comments on stage. This thing is playing games with me. So y'all can't see your comments, my peoples? Let me know. You cannot see your comments. Now, what the thing about Brian Norman, Jake Snake, what's up, my brother? The thing about Brian Norman Jr. collecting all the titles at 147 is that politics can get in the way. In fact, look, him and Jerron Boots Ennis could have unified 3 titles. I can see them. Okay, that's what's up. Him and Jerron Boots Ennis could have unified 3 titles. And look, that fight could have happened. And those of you who subscribe to Box Center, you know, more than a month ago, if you've been on Box Center for more than a month, you know that we've been talking about it. The possibility that Brian Norman Jr. and Jerron Boots Ennis may end up unifying those 3 belts. We've been talking about it in this channel. And that's it. All of a sudden, by pure coincidence, Boots posts that he's leaving the welterweight division one day before Brian Norman Jr. does that to Jen Sasaki. I don't know. I think it was strategic, to be honest with y'all. I think they decided, you know what? If we stay in the division, he's gonna start calling us out, and people are gonna say we duck him if we don't fight. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's make the announcement before the fight so he can't even call us out. Superman, salute Jay Smith, my brother. Bam, appreciate you dropping in. So that's what I think they decided to do with Jerome Boots Ennis. I think it was a strategic move. And as you can see, when Brian Norman Jr. finished and, the post-fight interview, he wasn't able to call him out because Boots already said he's leaving at 154. So all Norman Jr. could do was say, grab your boots and run. He called him a duck, basically. That's the way that it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. This is one of those fights that most of us wanted to see. Every time I spoke about Brian Norman Jr. versus Jerome Boots Ennis, everybody in the chat was with it. I didn't see no one say, yeah, that's not a fight that I'm interested in, or that fight's not going to be that good. Some people did say that Boots was going to wash him, Boots was going to smoke him, because they don't understand, how special Norman Jr. is. But everybody was interested in that fight. People want to see it. And now we know it's not going to happen, at least for the foreseeable future. We know we're not getting that fight. Boots going to 154. And it looks like for now, at least, Norman Jr. is going to stay at the welterweight division. Who's he going to fight next? Who's going to challenge him? Who's going to be the first big name to get in the ring with Ryan Norman Jr.? Earlier, somebody said Teofimo Lopez. I'm with it. Teofimo was trying to fight Boots. He was trying to fight Devin Haney. Yo, get in there with Brian Norman Jr. I like that fight too. I'll take it. But then again, at the welterweight division, Brian Norman Jr. will be a good fight with Teofimo Lopez, with Devin Haney, with Blair Cobb, oh my God, yo, y'all imagine Brian Norman Jr. versus Conor Benn? Y'all tell me, what do you think about Brian Norman Jr. versus Conor Benn? That's crazy. Hash Baz. Boots will have washed Norman Jr. I don't know, man. I don't know about washing him. I get, if you think that Boots would have beat him, I get that. But wash him, you wildin', fam. You're wildin'. Boots didn't wash Karen. We're gonna wash Brian Norman Jr. Stop it, bro. You see, that's the thing, Hash Bash. You like to go to the extreme levels of everything. It's not he's gonna beat him, you're gonna wash him. Come on, bro. You don't see what's going on? You don't see that Boots left the whole damn division instead of trying to unify titles? That right there tell you was good. He's definitely not gonna wash him. Definitely. Right now you sound like the people who were saying that, or who are saying that Canelo's gonna wash Crawford. You sound just like that. It's like, okay, if you think Canelo's gonna win, there's nothing wrong with that. It's cool. But that he's gonna wash Terrence Crawford, you wildin' out. Wildin'. Superman, Hash be trolling. Oh my God, yo. Now, I think that Hash, it's not that he be trolling, it's that he's a natural hater. Like, he got that hate going through his veins. So he just got to hate on every fighter. But you can see, my peoples, in this fight, how Brian Norman Jr. kept landing some real hard shots. You know what else I like about this fight? How he kept calm. You can see his composure. You can see that he never became irresponsible with his defense. Going forward, always with them hands up. Punching, but them hands always up. Always that movement. Yo, Norman Jr. is the truth. He's the truth, my people. Oh, yeah, he definitely hit. Oh, my God, yo. You should see. When he start talking about Shakur, you don't even know. Patrick, we have not seen the best of Norman Jr. yet. He's still developing. Scary. That's a fact. That is a fact. We have not seen, Brian Norman Jr. is not at his peak yet. He's going to be stronger. He's going to be faster. And he's still going to be better than what we see right now. So I think there is a possibility that we'll get Boots and Norman Jr. down the line at the welterweight division. That's a possibility. Don't get it twisted. It can happen. And I'd like to see it. I really would like to see it. And since we already know it's not going to happen at the welterweight division, the magic question is, who's going to step up to the plate and try to take that title from Norman Jr.? Is Teofimo going to give it a shot? What y'all think? I told you Richardson was going to outclass Cambosa. Yeah, Richardson hit you, but come on, bro. He was the overwhelming favorite to do that. You gotta stop giving yourself favor. You gotta stop giving yourself credit for predicting that the favorite was gonna win. Come on now. I'm always gonna try to give credit to the underdog because I'm not a hater. So I'm always gonna try to give respect to the underdog. But come on now, man. You predict the winner. Oh, the winner's gonna win. Look, I told you. Stop it, bro. Let's see what's next for Brian Norman Jr. at the welterweight division, bro. We're gonna have to see. There's some big fights that can be made. Right now, Devin Haney doesn't have an opponent lined up. Teofimo Lopez doesn't have an opponent lined up. Let's see. Patrick, Haney called Norman Jr. ass on Twitter. He has to back it up now. Shit. I know Devin and Bill saw that fight. And saw the type of baiting that Brian Norman Jr. put on Jin Sasaki. They saw it. They witnessed it. So, yeah. Let's see if they want that smoke. Go after that belt. Go ahead. Try to take it from him. If Devin believes that Norman Jr. is trash, go take that belt from him. Right there. That's all I'm saying. Go try and take that belt from him. Hash Bass is how they're gonna win. And Brian Norman Jr. isn't special. He's a good fighter. I mean, let's see. Let's see what's next, who he fights. Obviously, Norman Jr. is a fighter who's about that smoke. He's about that action. The guy wanted to fight Jerome Bruce Ennis. Called him out. Try to do business with him. So let's see. Maybe he could get Teofimo, Devin, or somebody else. I want to see Brian Norman Jr. get the opportunity to fight a big name. Brian Romero, you think Brian Norman beats Boots? It's hard to say. Honestly, and I'm going to say it, and I stand on it. I believe right now, Brian Norman Jr. and Jerome Bruce Ennis, that's a 50-50 fight. That's how good I believe Norman Jr. is. It's a 50-50 fight. It's a very good, very competitive fight. That could go either way. So I think he does have the tools and resources to walk out of there with a W versus Boots. But Boots also got what it takes to beat him. So I think that's one of those fights where they just have to get in the ring and show us. Patrick, I don't think he believes Haney thinks Norman is trash. But you know about boxers' ego. Yeah, he don't believe Norman is trash. He don't believe that. That's that's him trash talking, literally. Hash bash. I would like to see Norman versus Kiram. That's a good fight. That's a good fight. Patrick, he said it though. He said he definitely tried to say Norman Jr. is trash, but is he gonna try to back it up? Is he gonna say let's fight? Send the contract, I'ma sign it, all that stuff. I wanna know what is he gonna say? What is he gonna say? So and I believe that Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. is a fight that everyone in here will say, I'm down, I like that fight. I want to see it. That's a good fight. Real competitive fight. Young Lions. You can see with people like Hash Bass, Brian Norman Jr. still has doubters. Even with that type of performance, with that type of knockout that right now could be the knockout of the year, Norman Jr. still has doubters. He still got people doubting him. Why? Because in boxing, people think you need to be somebody that's real famous so that they could give you credit. Brian, how about Devin versus Norman? We was just talking about that, my brother. We was just talking about that. Devin Haney said on Twitter that Brian Norman Jr. is trash. Okay, then. Go snatch that title from him. If you really feel that way, go ahead. Become a welterweight champion by beating Brian Norman Jr. Where there's a will, there's a way. Make it happen. But again, I think Devin was just trash talking when he said that. He didn't really mean it. He knows Norman Jr. is a champion and a dangerous fighter. It's hard to even see anybody beating him at the welterweight division. The only person I felt would have had a chance to beat him is Jerome Bruce Ennis. Because like I said, I felt like that was a 50-50 fight. Then anybody else, I can't see. Okay. Hash Bass. What do you think about the level of Norman Jr. last opponent? When you say last opponent, you're talking about his opponent from yesterday, right? A very good boxer. Very good boxer. Very, very good boxer. Obviously, not a world champion, not a world champion caliber, because he's never been a champ, but a very good boxer. He fought a very good boxer and dismantled him. Now, if you don't think that Sasaki's a very good boxer with power, just look at the fact that the guy was ranked top 5, I think, in all 4 sanctioning bodies. Look at Sasaki's ranking within the different sanctioning bodies. The guy can fight. Top 5 in all sanctioning bodies with a record of 19 wins and 17 knockouts. Clearly, he got power. Clearly, he's beating some good competition to be ranked where he is. So that's the level where he is. A very good fighter. Branyo, Rashidi Ellis versus Norman will be good. Ooh, I like that fight. Yo, the thing about Rashidi Ellis, man, is that he be inactive too much, man. He spends too much time of inactivity. I mean, it's probably not his fault. I know a lot of times fighters are inactive because they're having, maybe it could be a dispute with their promoter or with their manager. They can't get them. They can't find them an opponent. Injuries. Like, there's different reasons why a fighter could be inactive. But Rashidi, he's been experiencing a lot of inactivity. So I hope that he can get active and get some big fights. Real talk, my people. Oh, there you have it, man. Brian Norman Jr., man, he was spectacular. Spectacular. Hash Bass, Norman Jr. will clip Ellis. I think so. I will ride with Brian Norman Jr. If he fights Rashidi Ellis. But I think it's a good fight. I think it's an interesting fight. Also, let's see who Gary Antoine Russell is gonna fight. I know that's at the 140 division, but let's see who he's gonna fight next. Is he gonna move up? Because there's a lot of big fights that I want to see Gary Antoine Russell be involved in. I can tell you that right now. TCP Booth would have beaten Norman, good fighter, but he's beating these flat-footed, stationary dudes. Booth was style on BNJ. I don't know, man. I think Brian Norman Jr. versus Jerome Booth Ennis is a lot more competitive than you think. And I say that because you have to take into consideration, my brother. Brian Norman Jr. is a fighter who has power in both hands, a guy who has very good footwork, very good timing, and he could give Booth some problems too. We know that Booth is a special fighter. All I'm saying is that Brian Norman Jr. is performing in spectacular fashion, and people are overlooking him because it's not big stars, big names that he's fighting. But these guys can fight. They're good fighters. If you look at Jin Sasaki, there's a reason why he's ranked in the top 10 of every sanctioning body, bro. The guy can fight. He's not a bum. But when people don't recognize a name, they automatically assume, oh, yeah, he's fighting some bum. He's beating a nobody. Meanwhile, he's fighting guys that are highly ranked within the different sanctioning bodies. TCP Santillán come forward, no head movement. Whoever's come forward, no head movement. Sasaki, face defense, oh fight. My brother, but those are, you see, you're criticizing their style of fighting, but there's a reason why they're able to climb the rankings to where they are. Obviously, they beat good fighters. They beat good boxers. Hash Bass. Richardson versus Antoine Russell to unify, and I got Richardson. I like Richardson Hitchens versus Gary Antoine Russell. I love that fight. And that's a fight that they can make happen. That's a fight that they can make happen. Why? Both guys are really about that smoke. Of course, there's politics involved and the numbers and all that good stuff gotta work. But we have to admit it, man. Gary Antoine Russell is just such a good fighter, such a top level, elite level fighter. And so is Richardson Hitchens. That's a fight, I think most of us would love to see. Do you know Avius Griffin? Sounds like a name I may have heard, but I don't know him. That's not someone that I know that I could tell you. I could maybe see the face and recognize it from highlights that I've seen, but no, my brother. I don't know that name off the top of my head. Who is Jerome Booth Ennis going to fight next, my people? There's the magic question. Who is Jerome Booth Ennis going to fight next? We saw that, he couldn't make, he pulled out of the fight with Teofimo Lopez. Whoa, battery's running low up in here. My peoples, let me grab a charger because my battery's running low. We don't want this laptop to turn off on me. Give me a second, my peoples. I'll be right back. Here we go, my people. We back in the building. Rocco McBride. Sasaki is trash. Terrible fundamentals. Terrible defense. And no jab. He blocks punches with his face. So Rocco, Sasaki is definitely not trash. He was made to look that way because he's fighting a special fighter. If you're trash, you're never going to climb the rankings in any of the sanctioning bodies. That does not happen. You only climb the different rankings, to top 30, top 40, top 20, top 10 by beating guys that are up there. That's the only way. So he's definitely not trash. Hash Bash. We know styles make fights, and last night's style was tailor-made for Norman Jr. TCP. Stanionis will have dog walk Sasaki. I think that's actually an interesting fight. We might actually get that one. That's an interesting fight, Sasaki versus Stanionis. But like I said, man, listen. Every time that an unknown fighter shows up and loses to a famous fighter or a champion, right away people say they are bums. Right away, a hype job. But you got to do your research, man. There's a reason why he's ranked where he is. There's certain people that he had to beat to be put up there. Canelo Floyd's son. Lots of respect to Sasaki. Great personality, and we'll learn from this fight. Norman, a beast. Would love to see Stanionis versus Norman. I like that. I like that fight. I like the idea of Brian Norman Jr. and a Mantis Stanionis. That's a good fight. But I would also like to see Brian Norman Jr. get an opportunity to fight the winner of Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios for that title. Let's unify. Let's start, getting these unification fights in the welterweight division. Rocco McBride. I saw Sasaki looking like trash before this fight. He's only fought Japanese fighters. He's trash. Okay. That's your opinion, my brother, but the sanctioning bodies don't agree with you. All the sanctioning bodies had him ranked in the top 10. So they're not saying he's trash. I'm not going to say he's trash if they're not. Angry Mexican. Sasaki is domestic level, not world. Fair enough. Canelo's Floyd's son. Yo, how you came up with that name, bro? Canelo's Floyd's son. Thought this week was calm. But that card with Jalil and Simpson got like 4 heavy fights. Angry Mexican. Much better fighters coming out of Japan. Canelo's Floyd's son. I don't know if it's me, but Japanese fighters fight the same way. Sasaki fight like the fighter Floyd fought in Japan. I mean, a lot of them have a similar style. Not all of them fight the same way, but a lot of them do have a similar style. Hash Bass. Once again, Stanionis is tailor-made for Norman. I would still like to see that fight. But right now, based off of the last few performances of Brian Norman Jr. and with Jerome Bruce Ennis leaving to the 154 division, I say Norman Jr. is the man at the welterweight division. That's it. We cannot get around that, my people. He's the guy. He's the dude. That's it. Patrick, think Norman Jr. deserves unified opportunity. I agree with you 100%. And I would like to see him get that shot. Let's see. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see how it plays out. I definitely would love to see Brian Norman Jr. get an opportunity to unify title. You never know. Maybe even go for undisputed. All that good stuff. Angry Mexican. I need to know what Norman is doing. You turned down 1.7 mil to fight Boots. Okay. But you get pennies in comparison to go overseas to Japan and fight a domestic fighter. Canelo's Floyd's son. No fault as in being knocked down, but maybe because of their build. Canelo's Floyd's son. Angry Mexican. Long-term cousin. TCP. Sasaki training at the wrong gym. He needs to be at the Inoue or Junto camp. Those guys actually use skills, not the face defense. Tough. That's tough, man. You don't gotta do them like that. Look, let me say something, my peoples. in Sasaki's defense with regards to what you guys are saying about the defense. I understand what you guys are saying about the face defense and all that. I get it. But what I want you guys to understand that sometimes you could be outclassed. And what looks to us like face defense is just that he's outclassed or he's fighting out there with somebody who he just can't dodge the punches. You can't. Fighting out there with somebody that's beating him up. Simple as that, my peoples. And if you don't have good defense, you run into a fighter, and that's gonna be problematic. This is a new setup, Jay Smith. So Angry Mexican, I'm playing around with little different options, little different things. Because in reality, I have this setup because I wanted to play the fight with Norman Jr. versus Sasaki while I was talking to you guys. So I decided to, but I'll see if people enjoy this setup. I'll rock with it. Plus, I'm gonna start sending out the link for people to show up on the live. As a matter of fact, I'm doing that today. It's only 10 of you in the building, but if anybody want to jump on screen with me and make a comment about Brian Norman Jr., Jen Sasaki, ask a question, yo, I'm gonna let you jump on screen with me. But my peoples, Jerome Boost Ennis is gonna be leaving the welterweight division. So now we just have to see. We just have to see, number one, who is he gonna fight at 154? Who will Jerome Boost Ennis fight at 154? And of course, will Brian Norman Jr. be able to unify titles? Damn, this thing is crazy. Oh shit. Hold on, my people. My screen went. Okay, here we go. Here we go, my people. For the people who like to call me a troll, doesn't know what they're looking at. TCP. That's from Hash Bash. TCP. Is it the face defense, man? Sasaki has been dropped by lesser opponents, and a better fighter like Norman capitalized on it. Sasaki needs better defense if he wants to be world champion. I mean, he's gonna have to develop and he's gonna have to make adjustments. Go back to the drawing board. I think Bohachuk versus Boots is next. I like that fight. Canelo's Floyd's son, man to man. I used to fuck with Haney even after that controversial performance. But after that news came out of his girl being all messy, I started having a huge dislike. Shit happens, man. Shit happens. Shit happens. Hash Bass, if Boots doesn't get a champion, I would like to see him versus Lubin. That's a good fight. That's a good matchup. Canelo Floyd's son. I don't see Haney going for against elite fighters like Boots, Norman Jr., etc. because his mind on a baby mama. Plus, she only wants money from him. Not even these shows. He a trick man. Damn, yo. Nah, that girl, man, she put a Devin Haney through it. Through it. Rocco McBride, Boots versus Tellers for WBA interim is what he should do. Quickest way to a title at 154. I mean, we have to see. We have to see because, look, right now, Boots is a fighter who his star power is up. His stock is rising fast. He's going to be able to get big fights. He's going to be able to get names in the ring with him. Let's see. Let's see who he goes after. Maybe he's not going to go after a title shot right away, but instead try to get a name under his belt. We have to see what direction he's going in. TCP, the only fighter I've ever seen that was successful with that face defense was Triple G. Dude had a granite chin. Shit they built the pyramids with. Yo, Triple G could take a shot, man. He's one of the very few fighters who went his entire career without getting dropped. Triple G never went down, my peoples, ever. never visit the canvas at all. So you gotta give it to him. Gotta give it to him. Angry Mexican. Canelo is Floyd's son. That's a weird reason. Canelo is Floyd's son. Marrying and impregnating a known 304 in the industry all within 3 years is crazy, man. I hope Haney can get his mind together. He's important for boxing. So, you know what happened to Devin Haney? I think it's something that happens to a lot of young athletes. You know, they make a lot of money. They have, they get attention from a lot of women. And these Instagram models who obviously have a certain look, they get them. They get them. She got Devin. She got him. Call herself a young one that didn't know no better. And there you have it. But that's it. He got a kid. He got to raise his son or daughter. I can't remember if it's a boy or girl. But he got to raise his baby and be a father. Angry Mexican. You shouldn't worry about who a fighter is dating. So I would say, honestly, I don't give a damn about who Devin Haney's dating or whatever. But I think that it can, his whole situation can have an impact on his boxing career. If he's going through it, obviously, that can have an impact on his training, on his, appearance in public, how he looks, how he acts, if he's always stressed out. So that's something that can affect him. Rocco McBride, I hope Shakur doesn't stink up the ring like Devin Haney did. Look, I'm going to be honest, my brother. I think that Shakur is going to surprise everybody. Why? Because people put this narrative on him that he's going to run, that he's going to be boring, all that stuff. And I think, he simply, it's easy for him to win and people are not entertained by the way that he wins. But he could step up the pace and be more aggressive versus any of his opponents. He just doesn't need to. But I believe that he's going to choose to. He's going to choose to put the beats on William Zepeda so that y'all can remember that he can do that too. So I remind y'all, man, people, when Shakur Stevenson come up, the only fight that everybody remembers is the De Los Santos fight. Oh, De Los Santos, he was boring. But did you see Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring, how he picked him apart and stopped him in the 10th round? Did you see Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, how he put the beating on him? So, I believe we're going to see that version of Shakur Stevenson. He's going to let them hands fly, and he's going to be spectacular. Hash Bash, Devin has a dad who was a pimp and didn't teach his son about these hoes. I mean, I think it should be the other. I think his dad probably taught him about the hoes, and Devin didn't listen. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to say hoes. That's Hash Bash that be talking like that, But Devin Haney's dad didn't teach him about those type of young ladies that move that way, if you know what I mean. Pierre Oliver, who you got? Background versus Boots. Ooh, that's a good fight, my brother. That's a good fight. For now, I got Boots, but I know that Background is a very dangerous fighter. He can fight. He got power. Big dude. He's a big dude. He's a big guy. So hold on. I'm not just gonna say Boots is gonna wash him or Boots is gonna beat him up. Background can fight and he can cause problems. That's all I can tell you about that right now. Patrick, style make fights. Zepeda Taylor made for Shakur. Shakur stepping on Zepeda. Mark my word. But I think he's not just going to beat William Zepeda. I think he's going to show out. There's that chip on his shoulder as well. The haters always want to make that narrative about Shakur being boring and he put him to sleep or he runs or whatever it is that the hater narrative is going to be. He's trying to have them eat their words. No, Shakur's gonna make the haters reach for excuses. The same people that are saying Shakur's boring and I don't like his fights and he put me to sleep. The people that are saying that after he put the beats on William Zepeda, they're gonna be like, yeah, but Zepeda's not really all that. Who he beat, Zepeda, whatever. It's not really that big of a deal that he beat him up. It's always gonna be an angle to hate on him. That's just the reality. Hash Bass, one of the biggest Shakur Stevenson haters I know. Hash Bass. Let me see what he got to say. I I hope Shakur is healthy against Zepeda and against Valdez. Why Shakur let him live in the 12th round? Now I don't think he let him live in the 12 rounds. I think he was putting hands on him and Valdez wasn't going away. He realized I'm not gonna knock him out. I'm gonna just beat you up for the duration. Pierre Oliver. For now, I think Bakram gonna fight Lubin. I would like to see that fight. Listen, Bakram to me, he kind of came out of nowhere. He kind of came out of nowhere. I really didn't know him. I really didn't know him. I had seen some highlights. Enough to say, okay, this guy he can fight. He got power. But when I saw his first fight, I was like, oh shit, Bakram is a problem. When I saw that man putting hands on Tim Tszyu like that, I was like, oh, whoa, who's this guy? He can fight. Superman, exactly. They'll be moving the goalposts. That's what they always do, yo. That's how it is. Shakur gonna put the beats on him, so now they're gonna discredit him and say that he's not all that anyways. Patrick, stopping Zepeda, Majimo versus Boots. Okay. Ooh. Yo, let's see. I think Shakur Stevenson is gonna try to actually get the stoppage. I believe that. Majimo versus Boots is the fight. I like it. I like it. Will they make it? I don't know. Let's see if they're gonna go, for an easy opponent for Boo's first fight at 154, or if they're gonna go for one of the big boys right away. Madrimov is a tough fight. He's a tough fight. Stop is a pit. Madrimov versus Boots is the fight common opponent with Crawford and Ortiz. Facts. Pierre, can't wait for Fondora versus Tim too. Ooh. Listen, Sebastian Fondora versus Tim Tszyu is gonna be a slugfest. Yo, forget about them fighting inside of a phone booth. Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fondora are gonna be fighting inside of a powder keg because it's gonna be fireworks from the first bell to the last, or to however many rounds it goes. They already know each other. They already know each other's style. They're familiar. There's not going to be a lot of studying and figuring each other out. It's going to be one of those fan-friendly fights where people just going to be going bananas from the first round. Rocco McBride. Madrimov is coming off of 2 straight losses. He has to regroup before fighting Boots. I agree. Now, I think that he can give Boots a good fight. I don't think that no matter how much he regroups, he's going to be able to beat Jaron Boots Ennis. But he can give him a good fight. He can be competitive. I just don't see him being able to win that fight. If anything, I would take that fight soon, with Boots coming up to start in the division, as opposed to waiting for Boots to get acclimated, fighting a couple of fights there, his body filling up more, and then facing him to get brutally knocked out. Don't face him. If you're not going to face him now, just don't face him at all. That's what I would say. Rocco McBride. I saw Teofimo Lopez beat Sebastian Fondora in the amateurs. Beat him easy, too. But you know that we can't make too much of that. That was in the amateurs. So, unless they fight as professionals, there's not really much to say. We've seen a lot of fighters lose to someone in the amateurs and then beat them in the professionals. We've seen it a bunch of times. So, I don't make too much of that, of head-to-head matchups in the amateurs, unless, there's a bunch of head-to-head matchups. Like, for example, Keyshawn Davis and um, Andy Cruz. With Keyshawn Davis and Andy Cruz, I think Andy beat him like 4 times. Like 4 times, Andy Cruz beat Keyshawn Davis. So that makes you think, damn, he might have his number. When they meet up in the pros, he might have his number. But then again, he might not. They both developed a lot since turning pro. So that's a fight. By the way, my people, that's a fight we got to see down the line. That's going to be a big fight. The businessman, Keyshawn Davis, versus Bulls versus Virgil. Is his nickname El Diamante? I think Andy Cruz is El Diamante, is he? But yeah, man, Keyshawn Davis versus Andy Cruz, that's a fight that's going to be a big one. But we already know it's not going to happen right now because Keyshawn moving up to 140, Andy Cruz is at 135 right now. So, what is it? Wait a minute, no, Andy Cruz is at... Am I wilding? Wait a minute. Is Andy Cruz at one... What division Andy Cruz is fighting at, my people? 135 or 130? For a second, I lost my train of thought. I can't remember what division Andy Cruz is fighting at right now. Is he at 135 or 130? Pierre Oliver, Boost versus Virgil on the main of Canelo Crawford. What do you think? Ooh, my goodness. That would be insane, bro. 135. Thank you, Hash Bass. That would be insane, bro. But look, I'm going to tell you one positive thing about that, one negative thing about it. The positive thing about it is that we've been wanting to see Virgil versus Boots for like 2-3 years probably by now. That's a fight we really want to see, right? That's the positive. The negative is that if Boots move up right now to 154, he's not going to be a champion. Virgil is not going to be a champion. So they would fight each other with nothing on the line. That's the bad part about it. So I think that Boots and Virgil, they have to wait probably one more year before at least one of them becomes a world champion so that they fight for a title. In fact, they might even wait till both of them are champions so that it could be a unification fight. So let's see, because that's a big, big fight. That's a big one. I would like to see it, but I don't think it'll happen now. Patrick, if Boost knocks out Madrimo, that will speak shit. Hold on. If Boost knocks out Madrimo, that will speak volumes because Ortiz and Crawford couldn't stop him. Look, I'm gonna be honest, not necessarily, my brother, because with boxing, the triangle theory doesn't work. Styles make fights, so your style doesn't match up the same that it matches up with him. Plus, you never know. Madrimov could fight him differently and make more risk himself more, make more mistakes, and get knocked out. If you remember with Crawford, the whole fight with Crawford, Madrimov was like this, fainting. It was very hard to time. You don't know if he's going to fight Boots and stand right in front of him trying to bang and get knocked out. And it doesn't mean that Boots was better than Crawford. It just means that Madrimov fought him differently and at a different time. So I don't make too much of that, my brother. Andy Cruz at 135. Okay, yeah, no doubt. So Keyshawn Davis, we already know. Arch 30, my brother, what's the deal? We already know Keyshawn Davis is leaving to 140. They're not going to be in the same division unless Andy Cruz decides to move up. Rocco McBride, Bulls versus Virgil is not an undercard fight. It would be foolish to put them on an undercard. Uh, I agree with that too. I agree. I think that Bulls versus Virgil is the type of fight that they'll marinate for a little while, and it'll be a big, big fight, pay per view. The Mexican American fighter versus the African American, big, big fight. Andy Cruz is set to fight Murataya. I love that fight. That's a unification fight, and I got Andy Cruz winning it. I'm telling you that right now. Murataya can fight. He can fight flat out. But Andy Cruz, man, he a special fighter. Special, special. The footwork, the jab, the combinations, the body punching, everything. This guy dance circles around you. So I got Andy Cruz beating Murataya. Simple as that. Like that. That's to me. That's an easy decision. That's an easy prediction to make. I'm not saying that he's gonna blow him out of the water. Murataya is a guy who can fight, an elite level fighter. He's gonna make it interesting. But come on now, come on now. We have to we have to acknowledge the fact that my brother is special. Andy Cruz is special. There's no getting around that. Hash Bass. Madrimov is only 10-2. He is an elite. Don't care what Crawford said before he fought him. Yeah, Madrimov is definitely an elite level fighter, world champion at the 154 division. Extensive amateur career, a lot of accomplishments, won national titles as an amateur fighter, has an amateur pedigree. What happens is the hash bash, when you watch boxing, especially when you don't really follow amateur boxing, you don't really understand that European fighters, they'll be amateurs for 7, 8, 10, 12 years, turn pro in their 30s, and have at least a small amount of fights, but still be elite level fighters, still become world champions. You saw Lomachenko become a world champion in 2 or 3 fights. That's because he has that extensive amateur background. So a record of 10-2 doesn't say that somebody is an elite at all. It doesn't say that. But if you don't follow amateur boxing, you don't really understand what's going on. You could think that. Hash Bass, Andy Cruz is definitely special. I want to see it already. Andy Cruz versus Murataya is a fight that we have to see, my people. We have to see it. I'm ready for it. I think, Murataya will make it interesting, but I can't see him beating Andy Cruz. I can't see it. There's just no way. Andy Cruz is too sharp, too good. And we're going to see it. We're going to see it. My peoples, I'm about to get the hell out of here. Before I do, I want to remind y'all, you still got time to change your mind about Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. You still got the opportunity to predict that Bud Crawford is going to win that fight. Okay? And I'm telling you, if you start to understand that Crawford is going to beat Canelo Alvarez, when it happens, your feelings are not going to hurt that much because you already knew it was going to happen. But if you keep clinging on to this idea that Canelo's going to win, your heart is going to be torn apart into little pieces. You're going to be hurt when Canelo doesn't win. So just take my word for it. Accept the reality of how it's going to play out. Accept the reality. Let me get this one out of here, my peoples. Hold on, my people. Because now we in it. My peoples, got a magic question for y'all now. Is there anybody in this live? Anybody in this live? It's 15 of us. Y'all hope I can't even see if y'all hit the like button, how many, if I got likes or not. Open this shit up over here on YouTube. My peoples, listen. Y'all gonna have the opportunity, y'all gonna have the first opportunity to be the first person to go on Box Center on screen and make your comment right here. Who's going to be the brave soul to jump up in here and make your comment? Y'all let me know. Y'all tell me, my people. Who's going to be the first one? And this is what the first one is going to talk about. The first guest. Because I've been thinking about it. By the way, there's some fighters who are going to join me on Box Center. We're going to talk boxing, all that good stuff. But to render an opinion about Canelo versus Crawford, your opinion and your prediction, I want it to be one of you guys. You guys will be the first one to join me on screen and predict Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. What do you think is going to happen in that fight? So let me know, is there anyone in here who wants to jump on live with me and say your piece? Patrick, I did hit the like straight away. I appreciate it, my brother. 55% Crawford, 45% Canelo. Rocco Murataya and Abdullah Mason stop Nakathila. Shakur for him timidly. Yeah, but you got to remember, at that time, Nakathila was an undefeated fighter who was unknown. Nobody really knew anything about him. So Shakur was cautious. Now, when Abdullah Mason got to fight him, Nakathila was more known, and it was easier to prepare for him. Kind of like Madrimov. When Crawford fought Madrimov, most of us didn't even know him. Now, when Virgil Ortiz got to fight him, there's more video footage of him doing what he does. So Virgil had, more tools to prepare for Madrimov than Terence Crawford, who didn't even really know who that was. I mean, I'm sure Crawford did his research, but Virgil Ortiz had better tape to look at with the fight with Crawford. So, my peoples, let me know if anybody in this live wants to come through and give me your opinion about Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Who do you have winning that fight? Who's going to win Canelo versus... Matter of fact, I'm going to put, let me see. Share your referral link. Let me see. How do you share it? What the hell? YouTube streaming. So, my peoples, let me know, man. Let me know who wants to predict Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez on screen with your boy Jay Smith. I have Canelo. I ain't switch. You got time to switch, though. You got time to switch to Terence Crawford. Why? If you switch to Bud, when he wins, you're not going to feel that pain. But having Canelo winning, when you watch him get his ass whooped, it's going to be painful for you to witness that. You're going to have to digest all of those punches to the face. The Soto hybrid. Cruz is overrated. Damn, my brother. How you going to say Andy Cruz is overrated, my guy? Nah, come on, man. You got to be playing games. Andy Cruz is a special fighter, man. And then you're talking about a guy who beat Keyshawn Davis 4 times in the amateur. Don't do it like that. Don't do it like that. But again, Terence Buck Crawford is going to put the beats on Canelo Alvarez. My peoples. Hold on. Underrated Will. Let me ask you a question. And this goes for underrated Will and the Soto hybrid. You guys both have Canelo Alvarez beating Terence Crawford? Tell me right now. You guys both have him winning that fight? And if so, Do you have to fight going the distance? Or are you saying Canelo is going to win and also get the stoppage? Are you saying Canelo Alvarez is going to beat Terrence Buck Crawford and get the stoppage? Okay, the Soto Hybrid 21 has Crawford by unanimous decision. That's how I have it too. That's how I have it too. I have Crawford. I do see it being a very competitive fight, a tough fight. But Terrence Crawford is a special fighter, man. He's a special fighter. And I see him winning the fight. And I see him winning it in a way that is going to be convincing. There's not going to be controversy. People are not going to say Canelo got robbed. And I think we should already know that in order for Crawford to beat Canelo by unanimous decision, he has to win convincingly. He has to put all type of hands on Canelo. Because if this fight is close, Crawford is not going to get the W. He's not. Swing rounds are going to go in Canelo's favor. I'm telling you that right now. Love more Hinduism. Canelo TKO win 8 round. Do you mean that? I want you to look, love more Hinduism. Are you with you want me to send the link right now so you can join me right here and tell me that to my face? Yo, somebody who's going for Canelo, man, I want you to tell me that to my face. Because we've been going about it on the chat. It's easy to type it in. Yeah, Canelo is going to knock him out. Yeah, type that in. Go ahead. Y'all got them fingers to type it all in. One of you who's saying that Canelo's going to beat Crawford, let me know. I'll send you the link right now so you can join me. Tell me that to my face. I got Crawford winning by unanimous decision. I'm telling you right now. Telling you right now. That's it. We're already in June. The fight is in September. And I keep trying to tell everybody, oh, you think that Terrence Crawford is this small guy moving up all those divisions. That's what you think. American DOAs. Sasaki was trash. Sasaki can fight, man. Brian Norman Jr. was special. It's not that Sasaki was trash. It's that Norman Jr. was special. De Soto, he doesn't believe that. Norman gets no points. Norman gets no points by people who don't know shit about boxing. But within the boxing community, he gets a lot of points. Look it up. Everybody's giving him credit. Everybody's giving him love. His stock is skyrocketing. Like that. Look. Look. All you have to do is look at the fighters, the promoters, the trainers, everybody that's talking about Brian Norman Jr. Because that's the thing, my brother. As boxing fans, people think if you're beating a guy that's not a superstar, that's not a big deal. But what you're not understanding, American DOS, is that Sasaki was ranked top 10 in all 4 sanctioning bodies. He's beating highly ranked opponents, my brother. The guy that he fought before that was also ranked in the top 5 of all the sanctioning bodies. Come on. He's beating highly ranked opponents. The Soto hybrid. They think power will win it for Canelo. They disregard everything else. Literally disregard everything else. Meanwhile, the 2 fighters who beat Canelo didn't have power, didn't have a high knockout percentage, which is Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol. They put the beats on Canelo. They made it look easy, made Canelo look like a B-level fighter. And they didn't have power. Oh, but Crawford needs to have power. That's shenanigans. Put it to you like that, my people. That's straight up shenanigans. Power doesn't automatically dictate who's going to win a fight. We should already know that by now. American DOS. You high on that gin and juice. The soda hybrid. Facts. Power doesn't automatically dictate the outcome of a fight. It doesn't. But again, my peoples, anybody who's predicting that Canelo Alvarez is gonna beat Terrence Crawford, let me know if you want to join me on Box Center. I'll send the link, and you could give me your prediction right here, face to face. American DOS, salute to Canelo, the drug cheat. Yo, he popped dirty. He popped dirty. Now, I don't call him a drug cheat because he popped dirty that one time, and to me, he had a valid reasoning behind it. The beef in Mexico and the other athletes tested positive for clenbuterol in Mexico. Who went there to vacation and just ate over there and tested positive for it. It was a football player. It was a soccer team that a bunch of kids tested positive after vacation, after going to a tournament over there. So, I think that I could give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't call him a steroid cheat. I still want to see, how it's gonna play out. Right now, Canelo is an undisputed champion at the 168 division. Terrence Crawford been undisputed in two separate divisions, 140, 147. Can he make history and do it in a third division? This is like the classic showdown of David and Goliath, my people. And I already told y'all, man, Crawford is not gonna be much smaller than Canelo like people think, simply because he's moving up two weight classes. Oh, he's too small. He's too small. He's moving up two divisions. He's cooked. But y'all don't even take into account that Crawford right now is walking around weighing over 180 pounds. Crawford is actually going to have to cut down to 168. So while people think that he's going to be moving up and he's going to be gaining all this weight, and watch, he has to gain all this weight to fight Canelo, this dude walking around weighing over 180 pounds in training camp right now, starting the process to slowly cut down to 168. So if you're thinking that Crawford's going to be mad little in front of Canelo, you got something else coming. You should already know when Crawford and Canelo went face to face after Canelo beat William Score. Did he look mad big in front of Crawford? Come on now. Come on now. American DOS. I never popped dirty on tequila. The Soto hybrid. How much you think Crawford will weigh come fight night? I mean, obviously they're both going to make weight. They're both going to make 168. But I think they're going to be at around 180. Both of them. At around maybe even north of 180. Because there's going to be no rehydration clause. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's weighing around 184, 185. Patrick, as long as Crawford can take punches in the arms, he will be fine. Crawford is a genius, and he give Canelo some money, different looks, and he is the best in the business as adjusting during the fight. Now, the one thing that Canelo did that it was a very smart move, he had Jerome Boots Ennis join his training camp for sparring. That's very smart because you guys know Boots can fight orthodox and southpaw, so he can give Canelo looks from both sides, which he's definitely going to get from Terrence Crawford. Bud is not going to fight the entire fight from one stance, right? He's going to fight as a southpaw. He's going to fight as an orthodox, and I believe we're going to see him going back and forth. We're going to see that from Crawford, and I got him winning. That's it. There's no backing down. My people, is anybody willing to jump on live and give your Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez prediction? Hash Bash, where you at? Where are you, Hash Bash? I'm trying to see. I'm trying. Let me see, my people. I'm gonna try to find somebody who's predicting Canelo to win. That's what I want to see. I want one of you who says Canelo's gonna win to jump on this live with me. Don't just say it on the chat. It's cool that you're telling me on the chat. I want you to come on the live and talk about it. Talk about, oh, Hash Bass, I'm here. Okay, Hash Bass. Hold on, Hash Bass. Do you got Canelo or Bud? Because if you got Bud, I want somebody that got Canelo winning the fight to join me on the live. They don't want that heat. This auto hybrid, they don't want that heat. They willing to say Canelo's gonna whoop ass on the chat. Jump right here and tell me that to my face. Let me throw Hash Bass. Do you got Canelo winning that fight? Let me get the link real quick. Where's the link? Link, where are you? Is it here? Your layout? No. I want to know. Copy. My people, look at the link right there. Bam. There's the link right there. If you're using your cell phone, you could do it with Safari. You could do it with Google Chrome. But go on that link. Accept the cookies and shit. Once you accept the cookies, join the meeting, and I'll let you in. So Hash Bass, if you got Canelo winning, go to that link right there. The Soto Hybrid, click on the link, Hash. You see what I'm saying? The Soto Hybrid want to see you get this smoke. Be the first one to get this smoke with your Canelo Alvarez prediction. Be the first. Don't be scared, my people. Do not be afraid to get smoked, to be the first to get cooked. Now, the fight is already September 12th. It's right around the corner. All smoke next week, Saturday. What's next week, my brother? What's next week again? Canelo is Floyd's son. Talk to me, my G. What's next week? My peoples. My peoples. Nah. I'm not letting you in, man. You got Crawford winning. Forget you. So somebody hit me up telling me that they wanted to predict. I already know Crawford is going to win. Stop. Stop the madness. Canelo's Floyd's son. All smoke next week, Saturday. Wilder and Jake Paul fighting. Oh, shit. Yeah. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with Wilder. Is this going to be like a one-shot deal? Like, because maybe he doesn't want to retire with a loss, like losing and then retiring, or is he going to try to make a run and actually, win and try to challenge one of the title holders? So I'm interested in seeing what direction Wilder is in. Is he even going to win? Is Deontay Wilder going to win? Because this looks like, on paper, it looks like it should be like some type of tune-up, some type of easy fight for him, but let's see where he's at. Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Listen, man. I got Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. getting beat up. Jake Paul's going to pummel him. Another washed-up fighter who's about to be 40 years old that they grabbed for Jake Paul so he could try to look good. Canelo is Floyd's son. You know that Usyk versus Dubois is on the same day as Pac-Man and Barrios. Gladly, different time zones. Yeah, I was talking about that previously, a couple days ago. That's gonna be in different time zones, so we'll be able to watch both fights. I'll be able to call both of them. I don't know. Canelo's is only Floyd's is Floyd's son. I don't know if you've seen the way I be calling the fight, my commentary, but you need to check it out, bro. I be going in. Patrick, I lean toward Crawford, but I can see Canelo winning and debate with you now. All right, if you want to debate with it now, there's the link, my brother. Click on it. You can click on it. Look, I'm gonna resend the link. Boom. Wilder's confidence is shot. I agree with you. Wilder's confidence right now is completely shot. You know, he's been getting knocked out, getting beat up. That's it. It's not the same. That aura of invincibility is not there anymore. Canelo is Floyd's son. Wilder fighting twice. Dude, he fighting got 5 losses. 4 by KO. 15 of his 24 wins by KO. I mean, I think Wilder's done. Honestly. I said before that I felt like Deontay Wilder should retire. I was like, look, I feel like he should just retire, not take any more punishment. He's taken a lot of shots, been knocked out a bunch of times. That's it. Hold on, my peoples. I'm about to let in the first box center guest to go live on camera with Jay Smith. So I'll start off by saying shout out to my brother Patrick, who's the first one to join me in Box Center. Patrick is going to give us his opinion about Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Bud Crawford. Yo, Patrick, salute my brother. You the first one in the building. Bam.
Salute, you can hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine. How you feeling, my brother?
Good, my brother. Nice coming for the Sasaki and Norman Jr. That was a good scrap. Norman Jr.
Appreciate it.
like Norman Jr. showed his skills. He showed his calmness. He showed his determination. He showed his bricks. And bro, someone had to go to sleep in the
That was
hospital,
a
unfortunately.
that was a brutal stoppage. But you know, now that you mentioned that someone went to sleep, I said before that I felt like Jin Sasaki's corner should have stopped the fight in the
For
third
sure.
round. I said they should have stopped it in the fourth round. At some point, it looked like he did not have his legs under him. He was taking some monster shots to the head. So
For
I
sure.
hope that he recovers. You know, prayers to Jin Sasaki. I hope that he's going to be well. But he was carried out in a stretcher because they didn't pull the plug. I felt like they should have pulled the plug on that fight.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like as I said, like I put the comment earlier because they don't always do like drug testing in Japan, and I think he must have been on PEDs to be able to actually still manage to fight after the second, third round because he was taking bombs, bro.
And I
He
was
was
saying
taking
that
bombs.
as I was doing the commentary, I mentioned I can't believe that he's still standing on his feet after taking those type of shots to the head. I kept landing flush over and over, but he
He
took
took
it.
all the punches, bro. All of them. Uppercut, hooks, in the body, counter. Ah man, that was brutal, bro. But shout out
That
to Norman Jr. Man. Norman Jr. is a he's a beast, bro. And he didn't get touched much on this one, but I know the man's got also a chin. He's got a good chin, Norman Jr. So, bro, he's the man in there, as you said, for sure.
yeah. Right now, I think most of us agree Brian Norman Jr. is the guy running the welterweight division. Now, Patrick, you know, Canelo Alvarez
Yeah,
versus Terrence Crawford is going down in September. You know, a lot of
yeah,
predictions. Some of us feel like Crawford is going to win. Some people saying Canelo is the guy that's going to make it happen. What say you, my brother?
bro. First of all, it's hard to predict. I'm gonna tell you why. because the first things that we know is we haven't seen Bud at 168. That's a fact. Okay, we've seen it at 154. He didn't do much at 154, but obviously Madrimov was just like, he was just like, he wasn't into the, he didn't really challenge him like to see how he can take punches and stuff like that. So it's hard to say that he wasn't 50. For me, really, Bud is like it's a three-way jump for me because 154 is he barely did it. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the first thing. So we haven't seen Bud at 168. So we have to see first of all how his speed's gonna be because when you put on weight, technically your speed is supposed to reduce a little bit. So that's a factor that we don't know yet. I'm not saying it's not gonna be fast. I'm just saying we don't know yet. Okay. The second part is we don't know how he's gonna take the punches from Canelo because Canelo can punch from like left, right, center. He punches everywhere, so that can tie you up. So we have to see how able is going to be to take the punches. Because you were talking about Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol, he was saying after the fight, I took the punches in the arm and Canelo can punch hard. He said it. He literally said it's like I had bruises the next day. I was like, wow. But his determination and stuff like so. So that's one thing. And Canelo was jumping one way. So you know, so he was punching a 175 in the arm. Who's saying that this guy punches hard? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a factor to take into account. Okay. Now Canelo being in 168 for all for for a minute, his speed's gonna be the same, or even he can even try to be faster if he's working on, like you say, he's working with boots and stuff like that. So his speeds can still get higher. So he still can improve his speed because he's used to that weight. That's his weight. So he can still like you know uh, enhance his skills, speed, you know everything at this weight. Okay. So and obviously we know Cano's got a chin. He's a good counter puncher. He's a he's got a good IQ. That's a lot of time is underrated. He when he take punches, he rolls a lot with the punches. So we think, oh yeah, he get touched. No. He get touched, but he doesn't get the 100, the full impact of the punch. He tends to roll with the punch all the time and come back to you, rolls, come back. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's on the Canelo's side. Now, Bud, the reason why I lean towards Bud, but as I said, I was making the case for Canelo. The reason why I lean towards Bud is that Bud is a genius, not only about skills, he's a genius at adjusting during the fight. He's a genius at timing people. He's a genius at giving different look. He will throw a feint. He will throw a feint now and see how you react. But he's not gonna use that now. He might use it in the 2 rounds after. It's like, oh yeah, when I did it, he did that. So like, I'll get him later. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the part. And also, Buddy's a dude, man. He's a strong dude. He's obviously he's not 168 is not his weight, but in life, Bud is a strong dude. Do you know what I'm saying? I remember when they were saying like, oh, what's his name? Spence Earl. Earl was like he's gonna put pressure on him. He's gonna like he's stronger. Da da da. Man, we saw who was stronger in that fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part when I say like when people say oh Canelo was gonna knock him out easy and stuff like I'm like, bro, I think you these people didn't learn from the Errol Spence fight. They didn't learn from that. And as I said, like for me, the reason why I lean towards Bud, as I said, is the adjustment and the IQ and the timing and the different look that he's gonna get. So you're gonna see maybe Bud on the first round, you know, fainting, do, running around a little bit, maybe, do. Second round, you must come to touch up and see how how Canelo react. He's gonna get some punches, so he's gonna how to say assess how can he how much he can take the punches from Canelo. That's what he's gonna assess. So if it's like, oh shit, that dude is definitely punching really really hard. I cannot mess around too much with him, in the pocket. But if he feels like, oh, I can take them punches, in the arm and stuff like that, I can see him stopping Canelo. Not stopping like knockout, flush knockout, but stopping like accumulation. Do you know what I'm saying?
Accumulation
I
of
can,
punishment.
yeah, I can see that the referee saying like, because Canelo, I don't think Canelo's gonna go down, man. Canelo's never gone down, so I don't see Canelo's going down. But it's a possibility. But as I say, like for Canelo to go down, he has to be like a proper counter punch that he didn't see that punch coming. Do you know what I'm saying? And then he loses his equilibrium, or you know what I'm saying? That's the only way I can see Canelo going down. But once
And
again, I just
I've said the same thing before that Canelo. We saw him fight Triple G obviously multiple times. He took Triple G's biggest shots, ate those things like
yeah,
they were soft shell tacos and didn't go anywhere. So I don't see him getting stopped, by a big shot. But it's possible if he gets hit with a punch he don't see coming, it can happen.
yeah.
An accumulation of punches as well. But my prediction is that Terrence Crawford is going to win this fight by unanimous decision. That's how I see it playing out. My brother, before I let you go, you was the
Yeah,
first one. You was the first one to jump in and be live as a Box Center
I was the
guest.
first one with the balls.
You're the first one
yeah,
with the balls. Salute to you, my brother. Bam! I appreciate you coming through, and you already know what it is, my people. We gonna keep doing it.
but don't count Canelo out, bro. He's gonna stay. He's going. Oh yeah, the last thing I wanted to say about Canelo's possibility to win is also Bud. He likes to fight fire with fire, and he has to keep his cool in this fight. He cannot go fire.
Listen, he's not you're out of here. You're out of here. Bob Crawford is gonna fight fire with Canelo Alvarez, and he's gonna give him the business. Nah, I'm just playing, my brother. I appreciate you coming through. You already see it, my peoples. From here on out, Box Center with Jay Smith is always gonna have a segment where you guys can join me and give me your prediction. What you think is gonna happen? How you think the fight is gonna play out? That's it. There you have it, my peoples. The first one came through and gave his take. That's it. Anybody today? I have a few more minutes. I have a few more minutes to go before I get out of here, my peoples. So anybody who wants to jump in and make your prediction about Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Ball Crawford, let me know. Let me know, my peoples, and we get after it. By the way, I want to show you. Let me see, my peoples. Let me show you. So y'all know that I was calling a fight, right? Patrick, salute chat. Salute my brother. Y'all know that I was calling a fight yesterday with Brian Norman Jr. and Jen Sasaki. Check out who's seen me calling the fights. Y'all should recognize 4 of those names. Oh shit. Damn. You can't see my screen, right? Oh man, I don't think you guys can see it. Can you guys see my screen? Damn, I don't think it's focusing enough. So I was calling the fights, and some of the big boys came through, checked it out, see what I was talking about. And then look at this, my peoples. Look at this. Rollies, Teofimo, Gabriela Fondora. Oh, nah, but hold on, hold on. Y'all see the Mexican monster? Y'all see the Mexican monster? Jahai Tucker, Eddie Hearn. Oh, now we can't see. Oh, damn. I thought you can't. Damn, I'm trying to make it focus, but the Mexican monster. Well, y'all get the picture, my peoples. The people who know. The people who know. They tuning in. They know what's going on with Box Center, my peoples. This is gonna be the #1 boxing channel. I promise you. This is just a start, OG. You will get more attention. Oh, of course, my brother. We young, we early in the game, but the there's the right people that's in the right places. They already know about Jay Smith and Box Center. It's only a matter of time. Um, but again, my peoples, I'm so looking for. Oh, wait a minute, Canelo is Floyd's son. Do you got Canelo beating Crawford? The Soto hybrid. That's what's up, bro. Hell yeah, my guy. Hell yeah. They tuning in. They know what's going on. They see what I'm doing out here. Najee from Cigar Talk Showbiz, The Adult, and other channels started small and are now working with the networks. Yeah, that's how it be. That's how it be. But they want to see that you got it before they say, okay, let's work with you. But at some point, you're going to see me working with the networks too, my brother. When they see me calling the fights, they're gonna be like, damn, we need somebody like that to call our fights. They either gonna have someone that can try to copy me or they're gonna have to call me. Canelo is Floyd's son. I got Bud beating Canelo. Canelo has fallen off while Bud is still hungry. I mean, I think Canelo is still hungry too. He wants to, there's a chip on his shoulder that, he can't lose to the smaller guy. He has to win and all this stuff. So I think Canelo got a chip on his shoulder. He got to perform. My peoples, I'm about to get the hell out of here. Before I do, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to the Soto Hybrid 21. Canelo is Floyd's son. Patrick, the first one to ever join the show live with me on screen. The Soto Hybrid 21. And everybody else who came through, my peoples. I really appreciate you. Y'all already know what it is. I'm Jay Smith. This is Box Center. This is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. You see it, my peoples. By the way, I'm posting some new videos, new shorts. Check them out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, share the videos, all that good stuff. I appreciate each and every one of you, my people. Salute. Bam. Peace and one love. I'm out of here, my people. Y'all already know.